Watch out guys, because this cute little devil could mean the end of everything as we know it in the world of Chainsaw Man. Pretty dramatic claim, I know, but I'll be spending the rest of this video justifying that statement, and I think if you stick around until the end of the video, I'll have you agreeing with me before you even know it. Also, before I get into things, I do want to point out that I'll be covering spoilers for the entire series, so if you're anime only, make sure to subscribe and turn on those notifications so you can check out my spoiler-free Chainsaw Man content as it comes out. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the world of Chainsaw Man is a pretty freaking crazy one. It's a world filled with dangerous and horrifying monsters that are directly created from the fears of humans. It truly is a cruel world when you think about it. A rational fear of something that takes countless lives, like the fear of guns, can form something so devastating that it could take millions of lives in the blink of an eye, creating this brutal cycle of fear and death. That's why the idea of Chainsaw Man, the hero of hell, is one that anybody can get behind. A devil that strikes fear in all other devils because battling him potentially means having their name wiped from existence. That's right, any devil eaten by Chainsaw Man has their name completely wiped out from existence, leaving no trace of them behind. As Makima states herself, he'd be able to create a world without war, hunger, or even death. Well, this raises the very obvious question: how the F can a chainsaw devil have such a completely broken power? I mean, the fear of chainsaws isn't that prevalent amongst humanity, is it? Well, honestly, you'd be right to make that assumption or have that doubt in your mind. And I myself find it almost impossible to believe that Pochita is in fact the chainsaw devil, and I think he's actually a devil of something much more terrifying. Really, I think there are two possible devils that Pochita could be, and his traits and abilities actually make it pretty clear, believe it or not. The first devil that he could be is the Extinction Devil. That's right, the Extinction Devil. This is something that has actually been theorized by the Chainsaw Man community for a while now, so it's nothing new. And also it's because it makes a ton of sense. After all, the definition of extinction is the process of a particular thing ceasing to exist. As Makima points out, Chainsaw Man has the ability to eat a devil and wipe its name from existence, meaning the entity itself is erased, which of course erases the fear of it since it no longer exists, and in turn erases the devil. Sounds like a power that would be pretty standard for an extinction devil, wouldn't it? And along with that, the fact that he indiscriminately kills devils that both try to battle him or call for his help would also be very characteristic of an extinction devil, because extinction itself does not discriminate. Anything can become extinct at any time. No one is really safe from it. I mean, a meteor can hit Earth at any point and completely wipe out all life that exists on the planet. That's just unfortunately a fact. And to build off of that, the fact that Chainsaw Man rises up again and again after being killed is also very characteristic of extinction. Extinction is something that is undefeated and unavoidable. No matter what measures humanity could take to fight extinction, it unfortunately is inevitable. Like I just said a minute ago, there is nothing that the human race could possibly do to stop a meteor from completely destroying all life on the planet, just like any super virus can come up at any moment and wipe out all of humanity, or massive war and droughts, things like that. There are really many ways that can make any species extinct at any moment. And this is an aspect that really makes me think that Chainsaw Man really does embody extinction at its core, where no species or living being is safe from it, and it can also happen at any time. That being said, there is still another devil Chainsaw Man could be that also fits these traits and abilities nicely. Now, this is a theory that is much less likely in my opinion, but is still plausible. There is a possibility that Pochita is in fact the god devil or something very similar. Sounds kind of out there, I know, but with the context I just laid out for you, I think it does make some sense. The fear of God is pretty prevalent in the world, regardless of which religion it pertains to, meaning a god devil would no doubt be extremely powerful. In most religions, God is an all-knowing and all-powerful being, having the ability to give or take anything away from the earth at any given point. God is capable of erasing things from existence and is also an unavoidable and unmatched entity. It's possible that Chainsaw Man was the first devil to ever exist, much like how God was the first entity to have existed, if you believe in that sort of thing, and his main purpose is to keep a balance between humans and devils. He erases devils that he sees could potentially wipe out humanity, but doesn't erase every single devil, since there has to be a balance of ongoing fear in the world. It's like one of those sayings things where you can't understand happiness or peace without knowing fear. Being able to cause or prevent the extinction of all of humanity is certainly an ability that a god devil would have, seeing as how the entity that devil would represent also is known to be capable of controlling the fate of humanity itself. Now, there is also a major theory out there right now that Pochita is actually the final horseman of the apocalypse that we have yet to see in the series. For those of you that don't know what the four horsemen theory is, that's all but confirmed at this point. It's not even really a theory anymore. Fujimoto has modeled the major antagonists of the story as the four horsemen of the apocalypse, that being Makima, the control devil, Yoru, the war devil, and Fami, the famine devil that we were just introduced to. I actually have a video where I go more in depth into the four horsemen and their abilities, so you can click that link on the top of the screen after you're done watching this video. But essentially in that video, I state that the death devil is not Pochita, but is in fact another character of the story. Well, after doing my research for this video and also getting a ton of comments from people in that video stating that no, this death devil is actually Pochita, I gotta say that there is some stuff to support this, especially with all the context that I laid out before, where, you know, being the death devil and obviously being a very powerful devil because the fear of death is very prevalent in humanity, it would make sense that if Pochita was the death devil, he'd be able to use such busted abilities like being able to wipe devils from existence. Well, the issue I have with that is that in the breaking point where Makima is revealed to be the control devil and she is kind of laying out her master plan for everything, she mentions that Chainsaw Man can get rid of war, hunger, and death. She's also including death in there. With the information we know now, we can make it pretty clear that she's actually referencing the other horsemen other than herself. War, the war devil, hunger, the famine devil, and death, obviously the death devil. And on top of that, later on, Makima also mentions that Chainsaw Man previously had a battle with her and the other horsemen along with the weapon devils. So that means it's more likely that all four of the horsemen along with the weapon devils fought against Pochita, obviously meaning that he cannot be one of them. There are some other minor inconsistencies throughout the story that kind of lead to Pochita not being the death devil, but you kind of get the gist here. Regardless of which devil you think is more likely, one thing that we can all agree on at this point is that Pochita is most certainly not the chainsaw devil and is in fact the devil of something much more ominous. Seeing as how Fujimoto tends to build things up just to blow it up in your face at any given moment and in the most unexpected way possible, the only thing that we can know for certain is that once Pochita's real devil is revealed, all hell is going to break loose.